Hi, so this is a video to show you how to create a box that can be laser cut. We're going to use Illustrator, so if you double click on Adobe Illustrator to load the page, I'm going to show you how to create the base and all four side panels. So as Illustrator loads up, this is what you'll end up with. Let's get rid of that. This is my recording bar, so please let's just move it out of the way. If you're trying to pause it and stuff, that isn't going to work. So let's go to File and New. You doesn't really matter what size paper it is because you're using the laser cutter. It really makes no difference. So just click OK, as long as the measurements are in millimeters. Now the box that I'm going to make is actually going to come draw, so I need the base and the four sides. What I'm going to use is I'm going to use a rectangle tool here. Okay, if you click it once, it comes up with the dimensions that you need to use. Now my base is going to be 200 by 150. So enter that, hit enter, and you end up with your base. I want to create this side that's going to come off of here. I know that I'm going to need two, however for the time being I'm only going to make one. Width of 200 and the height this time is going to be 40 because that is the measurements I need. And then I need the one that's going to go down here. So this time I'm going to have a width of 40 and a height of 150. And hopefully if I just reposition these, you will see that they will fit together like that, and that one will fit like so. Okay, so those are the main three main components. Now you might think, well, I need another one here and there. What I'm going to do with those is I'm going to actually copy this one to make the one that would go below, and again that one to go over there. So what I now need to do is I now need to know the thickness of my material I'm cutting, and I'm going to be using acrylic, so it's 3 millimeters wide. So all of the panels need to be 3 millimeters. Now I really want to make some fingers, so I'm going to start drawing some fingers in here. Again, I'm going to go to my rectangle tool. This time I'm going to click right on the corner where it says anchor, and I want a width of 3. And because 150 and 200 are divisible by 50, I'm going to use 50. You might need to use 0.75s or something like that, it depends. Now, what I want to do is I want to draw 3 of these down here and then replicate them on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to copy and paste, okay, because one is drawn is perfect, it's adequate for what I need. So I'm going to select it using this arrow, okay, and that will select that one. I'm going to press Control and C, which you can't see, and then Control and V, and that will paste a new one. Now using this I'm going to move it, and I need it to match up exactly with the one underneath it. If I click away you'll be able to see that, and I need to do that again. Right, so now I've got 3 of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy them. I'm holding down Shift and clicking on all 3, and I'm going to Control and C and Control and V. So that's copied another set of them, and I'm now going to put them on the edge. Now, unfortunately, because of all the stuff that I've got going on here, I can't see them. So let's move the edge across. There we go. Unfortunately, we've got a line down here near the stuff that I'm moving, and that is the page border, so that's a bit of a pain, but this one here, but it doesn't really matter. And so I've got that now. I also need to put the same down one of the sides of this, so let's move it here. These need to match up exactly, okay? If they don't match up exactly, your box will never go together properly. Right, now that I've got those, I'm going to now put some more in. It's going to start looking a bit complicated, but hopefully you'll follow. I want another one of these, so just paste it. I want to rotate it 90 degrees. If you hold it down, you'll see that there's an arrow, turning arrow. If you hold Shift, it'll only allow you to do the 45 or 90 degrees. We want 90 degrees. So I'm going to move that one into position, top corner, and you want it to overlap the ones that you've already got. Now you can see that you can't actually see through that because it's a solid shape. Doesn't matter. You could do this in any colour, it really doesn't matter, because ultimately the laser cutter is going to be set up whichever way you need. So we're going to control copy that again and move it to line up. There we go. We don't actually need this, don't know why it's there. And then because we've got 4 on this side, I'm just going to shift and hold both of those and then do the same for this, and then join that up. That will go over to the edge. There we go. And so now if I click away from it, you will see that I've got 3 going down each side and 4 across the top. We also need 4 across the top of this, the bottom of this one, and 4 across here. So I'm just going to do that as well. Let's move this out of the way. Oh, that's good. We can move them right over there. Not taking up too much space. Right, so copied them, and I'm bringing them down and matching them up. Looks like that's exact to me. And let's get the next one on the top here. There we go. Right, so now if I press Control and 0 at the same time, it will just bring you back to what they call the artboard, which is the page area that you're working on. So that's what I've got there. At this stage, we need to get a new window open. So if you go to Window and then you go to Pathfinder, which is there, this icon comes up. If it's going to transform or align, just click on Pathfinder here and you'll find it. I'm just going to move that up here because it will be out of the way. So I'm going to first of all work on this part here. Okay, so I'm going to, with my main arrow, my full black arrow selection tool, I'm going to highlight the whole thing. I'm also going to zoom in on it so that I can see the whole bit. There we go. And now that I've got just that one highlighted, none of this, I'm going to click on my main arrow again, and I'm going to go to this icon here, which is divide. So click divide, and what that's done is it's cut all of the different pieces, so they are no longer just rectangles, they've actually cut into it. So if I click off of it and then I use this selection tool, this direct selection tool, I can select parts of it, and if I press my delete key, I can delete bits. So I'm going to delete the top one and the bottom one. You do have to click individually, because if you continue just pressing delete, you will end up deleting absolutely everything. Right, so that is what I want. Now I'm going to make this one shape. So I'm going to click on that one, highlight the whole thing again, and this time I'm going to click on this button, which is merge. And now that should be one full shape. Now you'll also notice that it's all gone white, and if I click off of it, you won't be able to see it. It's disappeared, well, aside from this bit. So we'll keep it clicked, and we're going to click on this icon here. That basically gives it a black outline with a white fill. So all the white bits at the front, you can then click that one, which will say don't have a fill, which is what we need eventually for our laser cutter. So there we go, we've got a black outline shape. Right, so next I'm going to do this one, the base. So we're going to move over, so Control 0 will open the whole thing up. This time I kind of don't really want to zoom in because I want to see it, and I don't think I'm going to get much closer. So let's select the whole thing, click the divide tool again, that one. I think I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Definitely want to still see the one that I made earlier. Now, for a finger joint, you need to have the opposites matching. So we need to keep this section, get rid of this section, and keep this section so that they will fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. So first of all, I'm going to use my direct selection tool, which is this one, and I'm going to click on here and press delete, and I'm going to press it twice, and that should remove that one piece. Now, because I'm going to copy this and paste it, I also need the same on the other side. So let's move over, and let's move this bar again. So you need to move over, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side so it's symmetrical. Right, so now I've got I know that this piece here will fit on that side. So let's go back to this top piece. Okay, so this bit we're going to have exactly the same. So select the whole thing and use the divide tool. If you're wondering why I haven't done the whole merge thing with this yet, it's because I haven't done this side. There's not much point. So I've done the divide tool, so now I'm going back to my direct selection tool, and I've decided I'm going to get rid of this section, so let's delete that, and I'm also going to get rid of this section, so let's delete that one. So click on it, delete it twice. Now you might find that you end up with these little end bits here poking off. If you do, you need to direct select them and delete, and they will disappear. So we've already divided this, so if I go onto here, I'm going to need to get rid of this piece, okay? Because I need the slots to fit in alternatively, and I don't need that there at the side. Let's make sure we get rid of that little line. There we go. And we need to get rid of this piece. Okay, so that's going to fit in. Now, because it is an even number of fingers on this side of the box, or drawer, whatever it is, if I were to do the same pattern on here, it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you, don't worry about copying me doing this, but I'm just going to show you how this wouldn't work if we did the same thing. So that is what we're going to end up with. Okay, so on this one I'm going to have to delete this bit, where my arrow is. Button tool, direct selection tool would help. So you're going to have to delete that bit and that bit. So you can see that that's the opposite of here. Right, so let's just continue that. So I've got rid of that one, I'm going to keep that one, so I'm going to get rid of this one. Right, let's do the whole thing again. Now, I don't want to have this one here, I only put that there to show you, so I'm actually going to delete that out of the way because we're not quite ready to put this together yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that top one. Woo, he's going mad. And I'm going to merge it. And now I'm going to select that tool and that one. And now that is one piece. And I'm going to do identical to this bottom piece. So select the whole thing, click on merge, and then I'm going to select that so that it's a black outline with a white fill, and then I'm going to tell it to have no fill, and that should be one shape. There we go. Now that will fit together with the exception of your edges here and here and here. Now if you can remember back to what I said the measurements were originally, this is actually measuring 40 high. So what I'm going to do is 40 is divisible by 10 quite nicely, so I'm going to draw a separate box. It's a width of 3, but this time instead of having a height of 50, it's going to be a height of 10. There we go, it's quite tiny, and I'm just going to move that towards here. Right, now what I need to do is exactly the same as I did with the other rectangles to begin with, but I need to put them down the side. So if you can remember, I moved it, it needs to be in exactly the right place. Control C is copying it, Control V pastes it, and then I'm going to line it up underneath. And then I'm going to do the same again. Oops. It's just not working, is it? Let's just copy one of those and paste it. I'm trying to be too clever. And again. There we go. And let's get one for over the other side, or on this side even. Want to rotate it, so again, if you hover near it with your direct selection tool, get that arrow, click down, hold shift, it will rotate it either 45 or 90 degrees, we want it 90, and move it into place. Now this time, you're going to find that if you start it on the edge here, so the top edge that we've done nothing to, you're going to actually find that it extends over the end because we've already chopped 3mm off here. That is absolutely perfectly and utterly what we expect. So don't panic if that is what happens. So there you go. That is 3mm over the edge. That's exactly what we want it to do. Right, I'm just going to finish this off, putting these back, and I'll be back with you in a moment once I've done that. So as you can see, I've now got my 4 boxes down the side, on either side of that one and also on the top. The fact that I've got the bits hanging over is absolutely fine, it's not a problem at all. So what I need to do now is decide which bits I'm going to get rid of and which bits I'm going to keep. So I'm going to start off with this panel here, this bit here. So I'm going to first of all do exactly the same as I did before, which was select the whole part, click the divide tool, and now I'm going to zoom right into it. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here. Yeah, that's a better position. Right, now, first of all, I'm going to click my direct selection tool, because if I don't click that, it's not going to work. I'm going to get rid of that whole bit on the end. Okay, and I'm also going to get rid of that piece. So click on it, delete it twice. So I've got rid of one, I keep the next one, so I get rid of this one. Delete twice, there we go. Right, now, if I move over a bit and move up slightly, what you'll see is I've also got, on this one here, these fingers. Now, these fingers need to match these fingers, and this is where it can get complicated. They need to be opposite. So I got rid of the bottom one, so I'm going to keep the bottom one of this one. So I'm going to get rid of that one and that one. Let's select the whole thing. Well, this is not quite the whole thing, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. Click the divide tool, direct selection tool, which we're already on. Click delete, delete. Okay, seems to be quite a few deletes there. Let's click and delete that. There we go. So now I've got this. This bit will fit. So let's Control Z it. Don't Control Z. Control Z will undo your work. Control 0 will show you the whole thing. So just so that I can prove that this will work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this whole thing 90 degrees. I'm now going to position it next to that one, and you should be able to see that those teeth will block into that position. Right, as I don't want it there, I'm just going to move it back. Okay, so we now got that bit. In order for this to work, we then next need the next part. Okay, so we need this bit, and this bit will be the same as that end. Prove to you that that will be the same. You don't need to do this, remember, unless you're trying to work it out, and you're finding it complicated. So that bit will match up to that bit. This bit here, it's the same as this bit here, which will match up to there. So you can continue the pattern on if you wish. However, I'm going to do it differently this time because I'm missing that part here. It makes more sense that you don't end up with these little squares. So what I'm going to do, zoom in on the whole lot. There we go. And I'm going to have to do the divide tool because last time I didn't quite reach this end, so it won't have divided that bit. So I've divided it now. So I'm going to start off with that bit. Helps if you're on the direct selection tool. There we are. I'm going to delete that bit and that bit. So keep that bit, delete that bit. So now on this side I need the opposite. So I need to keep the bottom bit, which includes this little bit at this moment in time. I will explain a little bit more about that in a bit. So we need to get rid of that one and that one. Now rather than doing this multiple times, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the whole of this thing because I only moved it there to show you, and I want to keep the bottom one and delete the second one in, which would be that one. Now I already divided that one earlier, so I can do just click on it and delete the parts. So let's click on that, delete it. So now what you should see is it's becoming to come together. You can sort of see that it's going to become a box. Now, because I've got the corner here that pokes out, that little box on the end is no longer needed. We can get rid of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the whole thing. I'm going to merge it again. That's that one. If you've forgotten, it won't let me merge it more than once. Okay, let's see what it will do this time. It might do the same thing. Right, so if that happens and you can't merge it using the merge tool, what we'll do is we'll do it another way. Okay, so what I want to do is zoom in. This bit can be a bit fiddly. Okay, zoom in, direct selection tool on the line that you're working on. If you were to press delete now, you'd delete the whole thing. I know you wouldn't, you'd delete part of it. So let's see if we can do it this way. There we go. We can delete. There we go. We deleted the whole thing. Let's try again. Can we delete just that section? I don't think we can. Yes, we can. There we go. So you can delete it that way. You'll notice if I zoom right in on that, that the actual thing isn't quite joined up now. There you go. You can see that where the arrow is now, that there's actually a gap. So if I zoom out a little bit, if you want to zoom out, you can hold Alt down and with your zoom tool, and it will zoom out. Okay, what I want to do is with my selection tool, I'm going to just draw a box, my direct selection, and I'm going to press Control and J, and that should join it. Nope, it's not going to join it. Okay, we're not going to worry about it too much. It's really not hugely important as long as those lines match up. So let's go Control 0, and then let's zoom in on the other part. Excuse me. Direct selection tool again, and let's try and delete this little bit of line, and again this little bit of line. Now, whoops, a little bit over eager, and again finally on this one. Now if you've got little parts like I have that aren't joined up, what you're going to find is that if you try and move it, if you don't have it all selected, you're going to struggle because you'll move part of it and you won't move the other part. Just a bit of a pain. So let's go down to the bottom and just finally get rid of, whoops, the last bits that we don't need. Now, that is that. So let's have a look at that. So now you've got 3 parts, okay? I know I said that you needed 4 parts completely, and I will show you in 2 seconds. I'm just going to pause this a moment. I will show you in 2 seconds how to do that. Whoops. So hello, I'm back again. Right, so now that I've got all of those parts, all I need to do is literally with my selection tool, is drag a box over the top one. Okay, Control C, Control V, and I've got another one. Now if you click off of this, it's going to mean that it disappears. It means that it's you might possibly lose parts, so try and keep a hold of it. We're going to put it directly above because when the laser cuts it out, we're going to want to save as much plastic as we can. So all I'm going to do is the same with the other one. There we go, and I'm just going to position that there. Not quite up to close. You don't want them touching, but you don't want to leave a massive gap between them because that is just a waste of material. There we go. So there you have it. You've got all 5 parts that you need, base and the front and back and 2 sides. If you want to put a handle in so that you can open it like a drawer, which I'm going to add to this one, then you can add a shape. You could add an elliptical tool, you could add a rounded rectangle, I'm going to add a rounded rectangle to this one. I'm going to have mine, the height of the width of this item here is 40 millimeters, so 20 would be adequate for my design, but obviously you need to do yours for whatever. I'm going to have it as 50. It'll match up with my fingers, and if you press OK, it automatically rounds the edges. I'm going to pop mine right smack bang in the centre of here, which is there. So there you have it. That's my handle. I hope that this has been useful. I hope that you can follow it and you can use it as a reference. What I'm going to do now is just quickly show you how to save it, and also how to save it as a DXF file, which is what you need to do in order for the laser cutter to recognise it. So I'm just going to file and save as. I'm going to file and save as draw. And I'm just going to save it in my school file, save it in your RM file, whatever it is. If you click save, it saves it as an Adobe Illustrator. It needs to be Adobe Illustrator, okay? And then it will just say version. It really doesn't matter. Just click OK. And that's saved it. So now you can go back in, you can edit it, you can change it, whatever it is that you want to do. Once you've decided on your final one, and that's the one that you're going to use, okay, you want to export it. This is the file that would be used on a laser cutting machine. So if you click on export, first thing you want to do is you want to drag down that bar where it says save as type. You want to use DXF, okay? I call my files exactly the same as I do as the named file so that I can find them easily. So call it draw, it will automatically say DXF, hit save. You will get a pop-up screen. Now your pop-up screen is probably quite different to mine, okay? You will have the same options. Any of the options that you get, you need to have the top bit clicked. So don't have any of these ticked or anything like that. What you want is you want the top ones clicked only. I know that these are going to be along the side here. Click OK. That's now saved it as a DXF file, which is something that the laser cutter can recognise. So now you can laser cut that file. Good luck. If you've got any questions, then please come and see me. But hopefully this is detailed enough for you to be able to do it on your own. Thanks, buddy.